Bricks, it's Brickley here, and welcome to the third episode of my Middle-earth MOC series, in which I show you MOCs from all over Middle-earth, concerning the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, and even the Silmarillion. And if you haven't watched any of the previous episodes of my Middle-earth MOC series, I highly suggest that you go and click the card on the top right corner of the screen to save the playlist to which I manually add all of the episodes of my Middle-earth MOC series, which is an easy way for you to watch all of the episodes in order. And of course, if you want to submit your own LEGO The Lord of the Rings MOC to me, you can do that by submitting your LEGO MOC pictures to my Instagram DM, and we'll get to discussing whether or not you're going to be featured in a future episode. But of course, I'm going to feature you in a future episode because I would love to showcase your MOC. So if you want to be featured, I highly suggest that you go and message me on my Instagram DM. And of course, the main reason why I started this series is to be interactive with all of you, the LEGO The Lord of the Rings fans, because I believe that we can bring back the LEGO The Lord of the Rings together. These sets are just so amazing. I love the Lord of the Rings. I love all of the phenomenal minifigures from the LEGO The Lord of the Rings team, and it's definitely a shame and so unfortunate that they stopped producing LEGO The Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit sets in 2014. So we together should unite to bring back LEGO The Lord of the Rings. So if you are of the opinion that you want the LEGO The Lord of the Rings to return, of course comment hashtag bring back LEGO The Lord of the Rings. And if you are enjoying this series, of course, support this video by leaving a thumbs up to support it. Go subscribe to Brickley if you are new to my channel. And of course, ring that notification bell to stay updated on when I post any LEGO videos. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the first MOC. The first MOC we're actually going to take a look at is the Bag End MOC by Patrick B, which just looks amazing. You can see the entirety of Bag End, which is just huge. We got Bag End itself, we got Bilbo's garden, and even a little part of the road leading to Bag End. So over here, this MOC is just huge, and we'll start looking at the road leading to Bag End over here. So we got this nicely detailed wall piece with a couple of awesome techniques used for the bricks of the wall piece, with some of those tiles, as you can see, as bricks, which is quite a nice technique I've never seen before. And in addition to that as well, we got some slope techniques over here, some of those snot techniques in addition to the slope techniques as well. We got the nicely detailed road with some awesome, well, of course, round pieces used for the detailing of the road to sort of make it look extra detailed instead of just, well, being a sort of dark tan road. The designer added a couple of other parts to it so it really looks like a road you could walk on within this LEGO universe. And over here we get of course the fence with a gate, and actually on the gate is a little letter over here which is supposed to simulate the no admittance sign of Bilbo, and that is really a nice detail and just an amazing addition because that really makes it complete. Behind the fence over here, we got Frodo walking to Bilbo, as you can see over here on the top of the stairs. Stairs are also nicely detailed with some of those wedge plates. We got a lot of detailing on the hill. Well, actually, the garden is on top of the hill, as you can see over here, and the hill is just also extremely detailed. We got a ton of slopes used, and again, some snot techniques over here, as you can see, with a sort of red piece. I don't know what it is, but it sort of looks weird. It sort of looks like a sort of insect or something. Maybe even a ladybug. That would really be a nice addition. I think it's a ladybug. That really looks great. But over here on the far left over here, we actually got a couple of details within the garden. We got this well over here made up of the wheels from, I believe, the Gandalf Arrive set. That is some sort of, well, comparison to which set that wheel was included in. And the windows of Bag End itself are also wheels, as you can see. That is also quite a nice technique used within this MOC. We got Bilbo's garden with all of the plants and such. You can see a lot of flowers as well. And then there's a little wall over here surrounding Bilbo's garden with a couple of different colors. You can see the light bluish gray, the dark bluish gray, really just switched up tiles, as you can see. And this wall also looks amazing. I don't know how he created this wall, but it really looks great, and I think that the wall is definitely a great part of this MOC, and it adds a lot of detailing to Bilbo's garden. Now, of course, the main thing of this MOC is Bag End over here. And what would Bag End be without Bilbo's couch where he sits and smokes and everything with Gandalf in, of course, the Fellowship of the Ring. So, of course, the MOC designer included Bilbo's bench, and as you can see, this is a special type of design. It's actually made up of the LEGO book element, and I've never seen such a usage of this piece before. So it's really cool that the MOC builder used this book piece for the bench of Bilbo outside of his house. And of course, again, we get some hang plants and some flowers underneath the window, so a lot of details. And I think that the door of Bag End is awesomely detailed. I love it, especially the tiles surrounding the door. It really makes a nice sort of look of the door of course, this Hobbit house. And then over here, as you can see, on top of the Bag End house, we actually also got a lot of detailing with those slopes, and no snot techniques actually used on top, but it still looks amazing. You can see in addition to that as well, this Bag End over here has 4 chimneys, and one of them actually has smoke coming out of it, so that also looks great. And then of course we get the big tree on top with a lot of detailing, and I especially like those sort of branches from the tree, as you can see, with those Technic pieces used, which definitely looks great in my opinion. So I think that Bag End by Patrick B looks amazing. He used a lot of advanced building techniques, and as a result of that, this MOC is phenomenal. The next MOC we're going to take a look at is Erebor and Dale by Balthazarmcduck, and this MOC just looks insane. It's really phenomenal. As you can see, this MOC is huge. We got a big part of the city of Dale over here, and then in addition to that as well, we got the huge kingdom of Erebor with an inside look as well, which we're going to take a look at in a second. But first of all, we're going to take a look at the city of Dale over here. As you can see, we got the big plain area in front of the city of Dale with a lot of detailing, with a couple of bushes made up of cheese pieces, which definitely looks great. We also get some trees in addition to that, and of course we get some of those orange leaf pieces on the ground, which definitely looks great in my opinion. And the area is actually on top of a little bit of rock work. As you can see over here, we got the river flowing between those 2 pieces of rock work, and then of course the river is also nicely detailed. We get some nice brown slopes, and as you can see on the side of the river, to sort of make it look a little bit muddy. And of course, in addition to that as well, the city of Dale is actually on top of a lot of rock work with those dark bluish gray pieces. As you can see, nicely used slopes. And of course, the bridge leading into the city of Dale also is nicely detailed. You can see a couple of snow pieces on there, actually white pieces used to portray the snow. And the pathway leading to the bridge into the city is actually also nicely detailed with some tiles, as you can see. And over here, I especially like the trees on the right, and of course over here on the far left. I definitely think that those trees look great with, of course, those red leaf pieces mixed with those green leaf pieces, which sort of adds a nice diversity in the leaves used for the trees. But taking a look at the main city of Dale over here, we got the gate leading into the courtyard of the city, and the gate is really nicely detailed as well. As we're going to see in a second on the back, we can take a closer look at the gate. But you can see that the gate is nicely detailed with some towers on top, and the wall is also nicely detailed. Over here we get some leaf pieces stuck onto the wall. And of course the towers of the gates are also, well, detailed with a red roof over here, and we get some nice black pieces. I don't know what those black pieces are supposed to simulate. Maybe some burnt wood or something from the attack of Smaug so many years ago. But we also get some white pieces on top of the towers, as you can see, and that is supposed to simulate snow. So we got this huge tower in the middle, one in the middle and one on the right over there as well, as you can see, and a bit of a smaller tower, which is still larger than the wall. So that definitely looks great. In addition to the bigger details like the huge towers and of course the big walls, there's actually also a couple of smaller details. You can see that the ground within Dale is pretty messy. Then we get this, well, base of the tower, which also looks like a rotten tower with a lot of destroyed rock work and some vines coming out. And then of course we get these nice archways, which really make me think of the LEGO The Hobbit game, where these were sort of, well, you could see them, they were visible, and I think that these really look great. So they're pretty accurate, as you can see over here, with of course the red and the tan switched up within the archways. So I definitely think that this looks great. And if we're going to actually take a look at another picture over here, you can see Gandalf and Radagast fishing over here. That's a nice Easter egg. But what's most important is that we can take a closer look at the trees and the bushes over here. So you see the bushes with those cheese pieces, which I spoke of earlier. Those definitely look great, and I really love the usage of all the different pieces within the trees. It really makes a total different look for this MOC. I mean, only green would be a bit, well, boring in my opinion, and I think that the MOC builder really switched up greatly with these red pieces over here. And then of course we get the snow over here on top of some rock work, and you can take a closer look at the tower over here on the left. You can see some detailing with those let me see, sand green pieces over here. I think they're sand green, moss green pieces maybe. And of course we get some red pieces within the tower. That's definitely some great detailing over here on the tower. The designer of this MOC also thought of Dane Ironfoot's pig, which is actually brick built. You can see that the pig really looks nice for a brick built pig with those eyes, and of course we got a lot of detailing, and even Dane fits on top, so that is really an epic and creative pig, well, brick built, as you can see. So I think the pig really looks great. And if you haven't seen my haul and of course first fan mail video, I highly suggest you go and click the card in the top right corner of the screen, because I actually got Dane Ironfoot's pig as a mold. So I definitely recommend that you click the card on the top right corner of the screen for that. And then here is actually a back view of the entire city of Dill. You can see this big building over here on the left with a lot of detailing on the sides of the walls of the building. You can see some vines growing on the sides, which really adds a nice feeling of that the city is really old and sort of, well, beginning to, well, decay. And then of course we get some other different colored pieces used instead of the, well, light tan. As you can see over here, we get some dark tan bricks, some light bluish gray bricks, and then the roof of course is also looking a bit snowy and a bit decayed, so that also looks nice. And as I said before, the vines also add a decayed look. And over here actually in the courtyard we get a lot of detailing as well. We get some of those bushes used as well on the ground, and of course in addition to all of the buildings we also get some minifigures like Thranduil's army and Thranduil himself on top of his deer. That's really creative. The deer has been included within this MOC, and I believe that the deer is actually from a LEGO Disney set, but I'm not sure which one. And then of course we got the elven soldiers, and I believe that the MOC builder used Haldir's torso from the Battle of Helm's Deep set to create these minifigures, but I don't know where he got the leg pieces over here and of course the helmet. So I'm quite curious if you know which pieces he used for the helmet and of course the legs. And in addition to all of the minifigures, we're going to take a better look at the back of the city of Dill over here, as you can see. So we got the back wall over here with the exact same gate as in the front of Dill, but we got a little pathway leading up into Dill. So this is actually the higher part leading onto a little bit of a lower plane, and of course over here we got the same detailing on the wall. But over here we actually get a bit of a closer look at the building over here, the big building, and it actually looks quite great. As you can see that the building over here, the big building in the middle of the city of Dill, really looks great from behind. You got some windows as well, as you can see. That definitely looks great. And over here on the far left, actually outside of the city of Dill, we get this little tree over here, which is also nicely detailed. And next to that tree, we actually got the river, and the river actually sort of, well, stops with flowing, and we get a little bit of ice, as you can see over here. So there's a sort of, well, transition from water to ice with a lot of snow on top of it, which really looks great. And you can also, from this point of view, get a better look at the rock work over here. And the builder actually used a lot of those burp pieces with the green printing on them over here, as you can see on the far right of the MOC. But I think that definitely is a great, well, sort of usage of these parts. And I especially like the walls over here. We get some sort of, well, let me see here, 1x2 bricks used, I believe, for the parts of the walls, which you can see sticking out. So that also looks great. So I think that this Dill MOC over here really looks great, and you can see that this overview gives a nice view of the entire city. And of course in the back we got Erebor over there. But if we're going to zoom in, you can see some trees within the city of Dill. We get some nice small buildings, actually, of course, with some those decayed roofs, and I think that the roofs really look burned. You can see a couple of black pieces, some brown pieces, And of course, here is a better look at the courtyard in the middle over here with some houses. And I especially like the fact that the designer actually created those brown windows over here and some brown doors over here in the courtyard, so that also looks nice. And the designer even created this little cart where the elves are actually bringing some food for, of course, the men of Lake Town. As you can see, this is the cart, and we also got an eagle over here. And then of course here is another better look at the big building. You can see a sort of, well, nice detailing on the roof over here, and then of course we get the windows on the sides and all of the different pieces used. So I definitely think that this entire Dill MOC really looks great. And if we're going to take a look at the main part of this MOC, which is Erebor, Erebor really looks great. As you can see over here, we got the front of Erebor with a lot of rock pieces used on both sides. Those are actually a lot of burp pieces, and not a lot of slopes have been used on the burp pieces, but I don't think that really is necessary, because the burp pieces really look good on themselves already in this skill, as you can see. So actually there are a couple of trees in the front of Erebor, as you can see on the sides, and these trees are actually the same as the ones used within the proximity of the city of Dill, which also really look great. And as you can see over here, we got Thorin's company going into the kingdom of Erebor, as you can see over here, with a lot of detailing on the walls of Erebor. You can see a lot of windows and such with the light bluish gray pieces used. Over here on the top as well, a lot of windows. And then over here on the bottom, we got, of course, the entrance with the big hole in the main gate of Erebor, and a lot of detailing in addition to that as well. And then, of course, over here we get these little passageways, which you could see within the movie, where the dwarves would go pass through onto the wall where they could actually defend Erebor. And over here, a funny detail, we actually get the Witch King of Angmar in his wraith form over here on the top of the wall of Erebor, and actually some sort of dwarven statues carved into the wall of Erebor, which also looks amazing in my opinion. And the bridge is also still intact to lead into Erebor. As you can see, a lot of detailing, really looks great. And I think that the main part of this MOC really is the front of Erebor. You can see a lot of detailing has been put into this big wall of the kingdom of Erebor with a lot of windows. You can see it's really tall, and of course it's just towering over the city of Dill. And of course, if we're going to take a look at the rock work over here, you can see some of those burp pieces used, and also a lot of other different pieces. The designer did use some slopes, as you can see. And then of course the windows over here, we're going to take a closer look at the windows. So we get some awesome details with the windows, as you can see. And of course, there were a lot of detailing on those dark bluish gray windows, and there's a lot of patterns on this entire wall of the kingdom of Erebor. And then if we're going to take a look at the inside of Erebor, you can see that there's a lot of areas we need to cover. So first of all, we're going to take a look at the area with Smaug. So this is the golden hall over here with all of the treasures of Thror, and you can see that we get some of those pillars, and actually a broken pillar in addition to that as well, which you could see in the movie. We got Bilbo hiding behind the pillar, and of course Smaug looking at him. And the dragon Smaug really looks great with a lot of detailing. As you can see over here, the dragon Smaug really looks great with a lot of detailing on his wings, and the wings actually exist out of the sails from, of course, the pirate ship ambush set from the LEGO The Lord of the Rings theme. So if you want to know where those sails went from Bricklink, they are actually in this big Smaug dragon. And then if we're going to take a look at the head of Smaug, you can see the teeth really are sharp, as you can see. So a lot of teeth have been integrated into Smaug's big mouth over here. We got the big yellow eyes, with actually a fun part over here. The big yellow eyes have pupils over here, as you can see, but you can see that these pupils are actually made up of Lego arms, and these are black Lego arms, so that's really nice. And I think the scales of the big Smaug dragon over here really also look nice, and of course the bottom of his neck also is full of awesome details. And I especially love the spikes on top of his head over here, as you can see as well. So I think that this brick built Smaug dragon really looks great with just a huge body, as you can see, and his huge head. And I think that's really something necessary for a big Erebor MOC, because the dragon from Lego was a bit small in my opinion. But if we're going to take a look at the rest of Erebor, you can see that we got the throne room over here of Thror, with of course the big throne with a lot of epic detailing. We actually got this big sort of translucent piece over here on the top, which sort of simulates some sort of, well, emeralds or something, or some diamonds on top of the throne. So I think that also looks quite nice. And over here on both sides actually of the throne room of the bridge, we actually got the big dwarven statues, which you could also see in the movie, so that is quite nice. And of course over here in the back we get some nice detailings with those minifigures on the walls of Erebor. And if we're gonna take a closer look at the pillars over here in dark bluish gray, you can see some sort of weird pieces on the sides of the pillars in the corner, as you can see over here, and these are actually the dark bluish gray box pieces which you frequently see within Lego sets in brown color. So that is really a creative way of using those pieces for the corners of big pillars, and I definitely think that that is a nice technique to use for these huge pillars. But I think that the entirety of the interior of Erebor really looks great with the treasure hall of Thror, and then of course the throne room as well. Those two areas really are important for the kingdom of Erebor, and I think that they definitely look great with the big dragon of Smaug as well. And then of course we get the entire MOC over here, as you can see, with a lot of detailing. So I definitely think that Balthazarmcduck really did a great job on this huge Erebor and Dale MOC. I'm actually going to show you a couple of submissions from my subscribers, which you can actually do yourself. You can submit your own LEGO The Lord of the Rings MOC to my Instagram DM. The link is in the description down below, and we can get to discussing your feature in a future episode over there. But yeah, first of all, we got the Mines of Isengard by Christian Bailey over here, and he sent me this amazing submission, as you can see over here. I really love what you did here with the big tower of Orthanc set over here, and of course we got the Orc Fort set over here integrated into some rock work over here in the back with some slope pieces on the far right. And you can really see that these are the caverns of Isengard, with all of the orcs and Uruk-hai running around forging armor. We also, of course, in addition to that, get some Uruk-hai running up to, well, defend Isengard against some forces of Rohan. As you can see over here, we got some soldiers of Rohan attacking Isengard. And of course we get the big Ent Treebeard, well, fighting some Uruk-hai, and he's actually gonna lose because you can see that the Uruk-hai will taking him down with a rope. And then of course we got this little outpost over here on the left with some tiles, which really looks nice in my opinion. And then there's a little Easter egg over here. As you can see, we got this little sort of storeroom or cafeteria for the orcs, as you can see, with some food. So that's also a nice addition to this little MOC over here. And over here, as you can see, we got Gandalf moving into the Tower of Orthanc. So really a great MOC, and thank you for sending in your submission, Christian Bailey. The next MOC I've received is from Ketsai GX, and this is the Battle of Helm's Deep MOC. As you can see, it is fully created by himself. No minifigures from the Lord of the Rings or pieces have been used. And as you can see, this is such a creative design over here. We got the Hornburg of Helm's Deep, the Deeping Wall, and even the big tower with the horn in the back over there. So we're going to take a closer look at the picture over here. So you can see we got the battling ram with some really creative Uruk-hai minifigures. These of course aren't really official LEGO Uruk-hai minifigures. Well, a lot of these minifigures are actually just random put together minifigures from Minecraft and of course the LEGO Ninjago theme. That's really creative of you. As you can see over here, we actually got the entire scene of the battlefield, as you can see over here, with all of those minifigures. We got a lot of minifigures behind the wall as well, serving as the archers from Lothlorien. And then over here we got Haldir and Aragorn fighting against the Uruk-hai. As you can see, that really looks like a great scene. Here's a closer look at the Tower of Helm's Deep, with a Rohan soldier made of a sort of Lego Star Wars minifigure, I believe, with that helmet over there, and then he is actually holding that crossbow. Over here we got King Theoden, a custom King Theoden over here, behind him his commander, and then here we actually got some soldiers barring the gate, so that is also a really creative view to create that scene. And actually over here we also got a scene with a soldier just grabbing some weaponry. So this is actually the armory of Helm's Deep. The women and children also are included within the caves over here, as you can see. That is also quite creative of you. And then of course we're going to take a look at the Urukai attacking Helm's Deep. So here is the big ladder attacking the Hornburg, and then we got some smaller ladders attacking the Deeping Wall, with of course also the bomb attack of the Urukai, as you can see over here with the Berserker Urukai. So he is also going to light the bomb. And in addition to that as well, he actually has the Rohirrim charge at of course the armies of the Urukai, so that really looks great. And over here, as you can see, he also made this little Fangorn forest, so that's also a nice addition to his Helm's Deep MOC. So thank you so much for sending in your Helm's Deep MOC. The final MOC submission I received is actually from LEGO Ranger 6, and this is the Bridge of Khazad-dûm MOC, which really is a creative scene, as you can see over here, because LEGO never created that set. Over here on the far right, we got the stairs leading into, of course, the plains behind the Mines of Moria. Then we got the Fellowship over here without Gandalf, well, just looking at the scene. We got, of course, Gandalf standing over here in the middle with his nicely detailed staff. And then, of course, the big Balrog made of a big Bionicle. And I think that's really a creative way of portraying the Balrog. And over here, we also, I believe, got some Moria orcs over there just, well, firing some arrows at the Fellowship. So that's also a nicely thought of detail. But overall, this MOC really is creative. And I want to thank you for submitting this MOC. So yeah, these were all of the MOCs I wanted to show you in today's episode of Middle-earth MOCs. And if you have an all-time favorite MOC you love in this video, of course, let me know in the comment section down below. And did you know that if you comment your favorite Middle-earth location, I might showcase it in the next episode of Middle-earth MOCs, and you'll even get a shout out. As you can see over here, I got a list of people who wanted to see Erebor in today's episode of Middle-earth MOCs, so I showed Erebor. So if you have an all-time favorite Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit location you want to see a MOC of course, let me know in the comment section down below, and who knows, maybe you'll see it in the next episode along with your name on the screen. And if you did enjoy watching today's episode of Middle-earth MOCs, of course, leave a thumbs up to support this video. Go subscribe to Brickley if you are new to my channel, and of course, ring that notification bell to stay updated when I post any LEGO videos. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Middle-earth MOCs.
It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried.